Hello, good morning, students. So, nandito na naman tayo para sa subject natin na Understanding Culture, Society, and Politics. And take note, nandito na po tayo sa week number 10. Okay? So, we are going to talk about the government programs and initiatives in addressing social inequalities. So, in other words, tatalakayin natin all about social inequalities at saka what do the government or what are the programs ng ating government to address these social inequalities. Okay, and let me present to you our MELC or most essential learning competency. At least you will be able to explain government programs and initiatives in addressing social inequalities. Like for example, either it is uh, local ba yan, national, or global. And the following objectives are: define social inequality, identify the factors contributing social inequality, examine the types of social equality or inequality, recognize new challenges faced by society in the social equality, and explain government programs and initiatives in addressing social inequalities, local, national, or global. So, ano nga ba ang social inequality? So, equality is about making sure that everyone has equal opportunity to make the most of their desire to live. So, kung lahat ay ay nakakatamasa ng mga opportunities, then there is equality. It is also the belief that no one should have poor life chances because of the way they were born, where they come from, and what they believe or whether they are disability. So lahat pantay-pantay regardless of your status in life. However, when we say social inequality, this occurs when resources in each society are distributed unevenly, typically through norms of allocation that engender specific patterns along lines of social defined categories of a person. So kung mayroong uneven distribution of resources, nagkakaroon ng social inequality. Take note of that. So the major examples of social inequality include gender inequality, healthcare, and social class or classes. So yung mga halimbawa ng social inequality. In healthcare, some individuals receive better and more professional care compared to others. Marami tuloy ako mga nababalitaan na of course sa TV na hindi sila nakakakuha ng uh, better health service or services dahil sabi nila wala silang pera or mahirap lamang sila. So with that, mayroong nangyayari talaga. So hindi lang yan chismis galing kila Martes, kundi totoo yon kasi based on experience, di ba? They are also expected to pay more for these services. Philippine government recognizes the gender inequalities and trying to solve the problem. Hindi rin natin may pagkakaila na talagang rampant yung gender biases na mas pinapaboran yung ganito kaysa ganito. But do not worry because the government is trying their best to solve the issue or the problem. Pero ano nga ba yung ginagawa ng gobyerno para masolusyonan yung gender biases or inequality? And to address these issues there are some laws to ensure that the gender equality must be properly addressed. Okay. Here are the following proofs that the government trying to address the said issues. Okay, about mayroon tayong batas sa Pilipinas. RA number 7610, or also known as Women and Children Rights, or this act shall be known as the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act. So ito yung ginagawa ng government natin to address gender biases na karamihan daw sa mga babae ay pinagmamalupitan ng mga asawa or ng kung nino man. So, huwag kayong mag-alala because we have this law in the Philippines na nangangalaga sa inyong mga karapatan. The Philippines has finally enacted gender equality legislation after years of lobbying from female rights campaigners. President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo signed the country's Magna Carta of Women in Manila. That was August 18 of 2009. Okay? Number 2 na ginagawa ng ating government to address the issue about gender bias or inequality, allowing top government positions to be handled by women. Pwede na silang mamuno sa ating government regardless kung babae man sila. Diba? Women nowadays taking top positions both in the private and government posts. Like for example, President Gloria Aquino and former President Corazon Aquino, not to mention pa si Supreme Court Justice Maria Lourdes Serrano. So ilan lamang sila sa mga kababaihan na talagang pinatutunayan na hindi na ipinagbabawal na mamuno sa pamahalaan ng mga babae. Okay? So the factors that contribute to social inequality consist of educational attainment, wealth and poverty, power and gender inequality, which led to social inequality between individuals and groups of people. So ito talaga yung mga dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng social inequality. Some people ay hindi nakapagtapos. Pangalawa, yung income ng pamilya, tapos kapangyarihan nila sa pamahalaan, tapos gender inequality. So ito yung mga dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng social inequality sa ating bansa. Okay? The following are the factors that contribute to social inequalities. Number 1 is educational attainment. Inequality and educational attainment is evidence from many instances. The reality of rich can get better education in an easy way, but poor hardly get their diploma. Bakit kaya ganon? Di ba? So, educational inequality is the unequal distribution of academic resources and still needs policies that encourage educational attainment for men and women based on merit rather than gender. Diba? Number 2 is the wealth and poverty. Social inequality brought about by unequal distribution of wealth. Unequal distribution of wealth. Isa pa, the COVID-19 pandemic teaches us the advantage of the upper and the lower class. So, silang mga nasa upper, hindi sila masyadong apektado sa COVID-19 because they have plenty of food na makakain nila even they don't have work. However, tayo mga nasa lower class, talagang pahirap sa atin ang dinanas nating pandemic kasi hindi tayo nakapagtrabaho pero hindi naman na-suspend yung pagkain natin. Humihingi pa rin ang ating mga sikmura ng pagkain. Pero where do we need to get food? Where can we get food? Diba? So, dapat nakapagtrabaho tayo. But the government closed the operation of some the establishments. Kasi nga, dahil sa sakit na naranasan ng buong mundo. Okay? Pero saan kukuha ng pagkain ng mga mahihirap, di ba? So, mas makikita doon yung social inequality talaga between the rich and the poor people. Evidently, the struggles get by middle and lower class compared to the upper class. Totoo yon. Sino naman ang mahihirapan sa upper? Probably the middle pwede pang mahirapan. Yung mga nawalan ng work sa middle class. So, ang lower class talaga ang pinakakawawa, di ba? There's huge difference between allocation of wealthy and the poor in many ways. Totoo yon. Ang laki ng difference. Number 3 is power. Power in the context of social inequality connotes economic power, cultural power, and social positions. Diba? Thus, their symbolic with its with their symbolic with is reputation and certain position in the society. So if you belong to higher position in the government, then it's very obvious that you are powerful. Pero kung ikaw ay just an ordinary citizen of the country, it's very obvious naman na ano nga ba ang power mo. Diba? So, mamamanifest doon yung power na nagiging dahilan ng pagkakaroon ng social inequality. Okay? Number 4 is gender inequality. Acknowledges that men and women are not equal. Culturally, yes, nagsasabi tayo na men and women are not equal. And that gender affects an individual's living experience. Because of that, dahil nadadala pa ng karamihan sa atin yung kultura talaga na nagdidictate na ang lalaki at babae ay hindi pantay ang tingin sa lipunan, maraming nakaka-experience pa rin yan sa ngayon. Based on treatments ng mga tao sa lipunan sa babae at saka sa lalaki. Pwedeng sa trabaho. May mga ibang trabaho na nagsasabing dapat ang ma-promote lang ay mga lalaki at hindi ang babae. So with that, mayroon talagang gender bias. Diba? Pero karamihan naman na trabaho na ating naririnig ay hindi sila ganon. Marami nang nagsasabi na equal na ang pagtingin ng tao sa lipunan, even ikaw ay babae or lalaki. Okay? These differences arise from the distinction in biology, psychology, and cultural norms. Some of these distinctions are empirically grounded, while others appear to be socially constructed. So, socially constructed, nadala lang na yun ang sabi ng mga tao sa lipunan na talagang ang lalaki ay lalaki, mataas dapat ang posisyon sa pamahalaan. Diba? Studies show the different lived experience of genders across many domains, including education, life expectancy, personality, interest, family life, career, and political affiliation. So marami mga studies ang nagsasabi talaga na minsan pinapaboran ng mga tao sa lipunan ang mga lalaki kaysa sa mga babae. At sana hindi na ganon. Sana mawala na yung yung usap-usapan na dapat ganon. Babae lamang ang dapat ang babae lamang ang hahalili sa mga lalaki or ang gagabay sa mga lalaki. Hindi dapat ganon. Dapat lalaki ang babae ay pantay na ang tingin or treatment sa lipunan, 'di ba? So gender inequality is experienced differently across different cultures. Totoo yon. So, social issues in the 21st century. Tayo ngayon ay nasa 21st century. Ano ang isyong kinakaharap ng ating lipunan ngayong century na to? A social issue in the contemporary times is essential topic when talking about social inequality. Thus, government programs and initiatives in addressing social inequalities, local, national, global, to address these issues is a continuous process. So, ano-ano ba yung mga social issue ng ating lipunan? Poverty, 'di ba? Unemployment, kasi yun talagang ang nangyari sa panahon ng pandemic, no? Maraming nawalan ng trabaho. Okay? Health issues. So yun ay mga ilang halimbawa ng mga social issues na kinaharap na yung pandemic. No? Okay? So local inequality. Current state of the indigenous cultural communities. Marami tayong mga kapatid na mga na kabilang sa indigenous group ang pinagmamalupitan ng mga nakakataas sa lipunan. Okay? Kaya makikita natin yung ibang mga kapatid natin na kabilang sa indigenous group ay nandito na lang sa Maynila na mamalimos. Kasi pinaalis sila sa kanilang sariling lupa. So, 'di ba? Isa 'yon sa mga dahilan ng social inequality. Isa 'yon sa mga nagpapakita ng social inequality. Okay? Like ethnic groups is involved in the local inequality. Yun na nga yung tinutukoy ko kanina. If I'm not mistaken, yung mga namamalimos sa mga jeep, mga sumasakay-sakay sa mga jeep, ay ito yung mga Badjao. Diba? Mayroon silang sariling lugar somewhere in Mindanao, pero pinalaya sila doon. Kasi may umangkin sa mga lupain nila. Diba? Isa yung halimbawa ng mga epekto ng social inequality. Okay? Sometimes they are less fortunate whose rights are violated with rich people. Unascribed status, a form of organization, a focus of identity, and as culture are the characteristics of ethnic group. Okay? Ano naman yung mga national inequalities? Economic and political current circumstances. Marami nawalan ng trabaho. Okay? Maraming nagkasakit. So that's a national inequality. Epekto ng national inequality. Economic policy is a national interest and it gives direction to the future. If national government fail to do its job effectively and candid way, the equilibrium of the rich and the poor arises very much. Kung hindi yan natutugunan ng pamahalaan, yung problema sa kakulangan ng economic aspect, magkakaroon ng imbalance sa equilibrium. So either kung halimbawa ito yung poor, ito yung rich, magkakaroon ng imbalance. Malamang mas mabigat yung isa, mas mababa na yung isa. Ganon. So dapat magkaroon ng pantay lamang, di ba? Balanse. Thus, if political policies fail to give national interest for all with consideration of better futures, then discrimination also takes place. Okay? So maraming magiging epekto dahil sa social inequality. Kaya the government should do their duty or duties para masolusyonan yung problema ng social inequality. Global, okay? International inequality refers to the idea of inequality between countries. Global, hindi na lang to sa ating bansa, kundi buong mundo. Diba? Or mga karatig bansa. This can be compared to global inequality, which is inequality between people across countries. Inequality between people across countries. This may refer to the economic differences between countries, as well as medical care and educational differences. Inequality does not exist only in society and states, but also among states. Hindi lang ito tungkol sa isang bansa, kundi lahat na mga bansa. There are states that are wealthier and more powerful than other states, and the former end up being more influential in the global community. Siyempre, sila yung powerful nation, kaya nagiging most influential nation sila. At sino ang sunod-sunuran? Ito mga nasa mababang income na nation. Okay? This leads to a situation of global inequality, where poorer and less powerful states end up being controlled and influenced by richer and more powerful states. Ganun talaga. Yung mga mahihirap na bansa ay kukontrolin ng mga mayayaman na bansa. At nangyayari yan sa kasalukuyan. Okay? So, do you have questions? So, kung wala na, I would like you to answer this quiz. Pero you can answer this in your Google Classroom. Okay? So, once again, kung mayroon kayong katanungan, do not forget to raise your question or comment down below sa ating comment section ng video ito. Tapos, sa mga estudyante ko, kung mayroon kayong katanungan, huwag kayong mahiyang magtanong sa ating klase. Okay? So, to my students, see you in my next class. Okay? Or see you sa klase natin mamaya. Okay? So, ang mga manonood ko dito na nagsusubaybay sa aking weekly lesson sa Understanding Culture and Society, please do not forget to ask questions, comment down below kung mayroon kayong mga katanungan or karagdagang information about sa topic natin ngayong umaga. Okay? At para naman sa lahat, I hope mayroon kayong natutunan sa aking video lesson na to. Okay? So, bye everyone and thank you so much sa pagsubaybay ng aking discussion weekly. God bless. Keep safe.